Hail Satan, brothers and sisters. Ave Satanas, Ave Lucifera, Ave Lord Belial, Ave Lord Leviathan, Ave beautiful Queen Lilith, Ave Queen Astaroth, Ave King Azazel, Ave Lord Pazuzu, Ave King Asmodeus, Ave King Asmodee. I love my true 100% brothers and sisters more than words could ever say. And believe you me when I'm telling you this, I ask Father Satan every single night and the demonic. Every single night when I go to bed and during the day, I ask Father Satan to keep his eye out for you and watch over each and every one of his true children. I really do. I'm not just saying it. I do. Honestly. Okay. The 9 satanic sins. The first up is the divine satanic sins. Yes, I know what you're all thinking. Satan has sinned. These sins are a list of cardinal no that prevent a state of unbalance within the individual. Stupidity. This is at the top of the list. The number 1 cardinal sin of Satanism. A wise man once said, "It's too bad stupidity isn't painful. For ignorance is one thing, but our society thrives on increasing on the sin." On one hand, you have people going along with whatever they are told, and on the other hand, you have the media promoting and cultivating need to create every more stupidity within a posture that is not only acceptable, but downright laughable. As Satanists, demonolators, we must learn to see beyond this mundane entrapment, pretentiousness. This is the second sin, but this is equally dangerous as the first cardinal, because it keeps the money in circulation these days, namely because everyone is made to think and believe they are all equal and on the same footing. This too is a lie, for we are not equals. Sloppiness. This can be very deadly for Satanists and demonolators, for projecting your reactions, responses, and your sensibilities onto another who is most likely lesser qualified than you are attuned to. Has been said that it is a mistake to accept people to give you the same consideration, curiosity, and respect that you will allow them, because they won't. For we strive to use and apply the old motto, "Do unto others as they do unto you." This requires a state of constant awareness, unless you slip into the state of the mundane. Number 4, self-deceit. This is another cardinal sin that we must pay homage to, because to do so would vilify the sacred cows that are presented to us, including the roles we are expected to play ourselves. The only time self-deceit should be entered into is when it is with awareness and when it is fun. And with awareness, but then it is not self-deceit. Herd conformity. The cardinal sin is very obvious from the satanic stance. It is all right to conform to a person's wishes if it ultimately benefits the individual, but only fools follow along with the herd of the mundane, letting an impersonal entity dictate you. The key is to choose a master wisely, of becoming a slave of the whims of the many. Lack of perspective. This sin can also lead to pain for a Satanist, for if we lose sight of what and who we are, thread-wise by our very existence to the mundane, that we fall into their traps instead of vice versa. Every day we make history by keeping the historical and social pictures in mind, to which is both important to our greater and lesser magical practices. We spot and utilize the patterns that emerge within our daily lives the way we want them to go. Do not sway by the herd constraints, but instead remember that we are working on a whole other level than the mundane. Forgetfulness of past orthodoxies. This cardinal sin is one sure way to brainwash people into accepting it or buying something. new that looks different, but it's the same old, same old. It's a way to take something old and place it into a new package for a new era. And it's a clear sign that the mundane forget about that, to which was that is now. One can say that this makes for society that is really disposable. Counterproductive pride. Pride is great up to the point, at least up until you start throwing the baby out with the bathwater. The satanic rule is, if it is good for you, great. But when it stops, you basically painted yourself into a corner. For the first rule, word is important, because when one fights the current of natural flow, you are defeating yourself. 9. Lack of aesthetics. This one can be classified as the balance factor. Cultivating the within a state of lower magic, one cannot collect any funds off it, due to beauty of currency. Within today's society, you will see one needs to have an eye for beauty within consumerism, to begin to enjoy the essential satanic tool that is applied for within the greatest magical that lays before the individual, and aesthetics is on hand, one supposed to be pleasing to the eye of the beholder, desiring, while on the other hand is reflective within the universal harmonious nature. The 9 satanic statements. Satan represents indulgence instead of absentees. This means that one has the right to indulge to whatever brings the individual pleasure. Is a good thing. To deny what is natural is to deny what and who we are, and therefore to choose absentees is not natural to the human animal. Number 2. Satan represents vital existence instead of spiritual pipe dreams. This means that we as human beings have the right to live and exist in any way we want and desire to. Those who desire to exist lives in reality for what it is are not living in a fairy tale dream world of delusional pipe dreams. Satan represents undefiled wisdom instead of hypocritical self-deceit. Knowledge is wisdom, and true wisdom comes from knowledge of self. Instead of deceiving one's own nature, why should one deceive others and or thyself? A Satanist would not because it would violate the highest law. Number 4. Satan represents kindness to those who deserve it instead of love wasted on ingrates. This means that your time should be best spent on those worthy of benefiting from your experiences and time, and not wasted on users, backstabbers, hypocrites, and liars. Okay. Number 5. Satan represents vengeance instead of turning the other cheek. This is natural for who would allow someone to assault them repeatedly without doing anything in return. The answer is nothing. The answer is that nothing should prevent one from striking back if you are struck on the left, smash them on the right, cave their head in. Satan represents responsibility to the responsible instead of concern for psychic vampires. This means we as individuals need to take responsibility for our own actions rather than passing it off as I don't know what happened. Responsibility is to be taken, for it is a matter of honor. If one does not take responsibility for themselves, then nothing changes. Number 7. Satan represents man as just another animal. Sometimes better, more often worse. Worse than 90% of the cases. Worse than those that all walk on all fours, who because of his divine, spiritual, and intellectual development has become the most vicious animal of all. Mankind sees himself as top of the food chain and dominate to all. Humanity has become a plague, a scourge that is destroying that which is keeping us alive. Then wonders why, when something bad happens to us. Look at the animal kingdom. You don't see them harming each other outside of food or protection, defense. No, not for things are equal. It's true too. And number 8, Satan represents all the so-called sins, as they all lead to physical, mental, emotional gratification. Number 9, Satan has been, okay, the reason for this is because the church has been made, the reason for this is that the church has been made, the reason for this is because the church has made all that is natural to be against nature. To suppress what makes you human is to stop living. Satan has been the best friend the church has ever had, for it is he who has kept it in business all these years. Think about it. If Satan wasn't around, the church would have died off centuries ago. So in essence, Satan is the enlightener of man. Lucifer is the king of father of enlightenment, but the 11 satanic rules of the church. Do not give your opinions or advice unless you're asked. Do not tell your troubles to another unless you are sure they want to hear them. Those 2 rules, I find, go hand in hand due to the fact that people tend to fall into 2 different categories. The first are those who really do not want to hear it and are quite rude about it, as well as the second type of people who don't mind listening to your problems but don't know how to tell you to stop because they are too nice, but are willing to aid you to a point. Number 3, if you are a guest in someone's lair, show him respect, or else do not go in there. If a guest in your lair annoys you, treat him cruelty and without mercy. 3 and 4, in my opinion, go hand in hand with each other, because when one enters another's home, you want to be invited back. But if you disrespect the host, then you have destroyed that from happening, and that you get what you basically get what you sow. You reap what you sow. Sort of thing. Same meaning. Okay, number 5. Do not make sexual advances unless given the mating signal. This, in my opinion, is a major cardinal rule, and I will tell you why. In today's world, men see women as sexual objects, which is why some men are served the order of protection or sexual harassment charges. These morons and creeps, to which makes all men look bad, and why some women are hesitant to certain men when certain men are around. Remember that there are signs to which a woman will project to proceed with flirtations. For instance, she will smile as she brushes her hair behind her ear, and her face will light up with an luminescent glow with a slight giggle. Remember, there are signs to everything in nature, and it will be made clear in time if one's patience is observant. Number 6. Do not take that which does not belong to you, unless it is a burden to the other person, and he cries out to be relieved. This means that what you call self-gratification could be harmful to you due to the legal system known as theft. However, if the other person reveals to you that it is a burden and tells you that it is yours, to which you can have, then it is all good and done. Not violate the law, the higher law. Number 7. Acknowledge the power of magic. If you have employed it successfully to attain to your desires. If you deny the power of magic after calling upon it with success, then you will lose all that you have attained. You're fucking right, you will, 100%. Do not complain about anything to which you need not subject yourself. Again, this rule does not need justification, but I'll attempt to break it down. There are 2 ways that this can be looked at. First, it is what does complaining really get you? And second, if you complain to others, do others really care what is bothering you? I mean, what means a lot to you really could mean something minor and insignificant to someone else. Number 9, do not harm any children. There is and are so many reasons why this is an important rule, many of which are apparent to all, but some need to read it. As stated as preference, only cults have child breeding programs and sacrificing groups. Satanism does not have these people and need not understand this. It is called responsibility to the responsible for a reason. Number 10. Do not kill non-human animals for defense or for food. Animals are friends and living creatures who deserve better than what humans are doing to them. Yes, they are food, but only if it is needed, but only enough to satisfy the hunger. Outside of that it is to protect ourselves. Some animals become more than average household pets and become what we magical folks call familiars. These kinds of animals are our helpers and magical aids. 100% agree. When walking in open territory, bother no one. If someone bothers you, ask him or her to stop. If he or she does not stop, destroy them. Most people, when walking, prefer to be left alone. When another person bothers you, you have a right to ask them to walk away and leave you alone. If they persist and continue, then what happens next is on them. 100% agree. The 11 adversarial doctrines. Lucifer represents wisdom found through self-exploration. Lucifer represents rejection of accepted truths instead of exploit possibilities. Lucifer symbolizes rebellion with a purpose, knowledge, wisdom, and power. Lucifer represents utilizing fantasy and symbolism to open the gates of hell. The underworld is the world of power. Lucifer represents balance, spirituality, and physicality. That light and darkness are equal, important to the mental and physical health of the individual. Lucifer represents self-deification with earned compassion and the value of loved ones. Lilith represents the wisdom and instinctual power of both women and men, that the familia is the monitorial of all life. Lilith represents independence and freedom of spirit. Lilith represents sexual liberty and the power to seek what you wish, with responsibility and regard for the law. Lilith represents the thirst for continuous existence in time, the immortality of the spirit beyond flesh. Lilith represents the darkness surrounding the light of Godhead and buried flame of her mate Samael. Note, in my opinion, the adversarial doctrines need not to be explained due to clearly stating and representing the image of the first 3 set of rules, regulating and laws. 13 laws. The ancestors of our dark craft should always be remembered, for they guide and protect us from the shadows. Always honor and respect another brother or sister in Satan, regardless of rank or knowledge or gender, for we are true sons and daughters of Satan's family, together and united in darkness. Always honor the old ways of the dark craft by observing the 4 black Sabbaths. Attend the traditional satanic black mass if you can. Do a black mass with other people. Unless you can't got no way of getting somewhere to do it. If you can't, well, you do your own ritual, black ritual. You can do your own black ritual, but black mass, but it'd be kind of hard by yourself, but I'm sure you can do it. Father Satan's there and the demonic, because they know you're doing your best. And it would be nice to, either way, if you do it by yourself because you got no people to do it with, like me here in Georgetown, Ontario, I don't have anybody to do a black mass with. I never did. I would love to. And I'm not joking, I really would truly love to do a black mass. with some true Satanists, but so far as I know, I'm the only Satanist in the town I live in. So far as I know, I'm the only Satanist here. Sign the blood covenant of Satanists to show your true dedication to Satanists and his divine. Okay, always support concepts. Always support the concepts of satanic unity and satanic realizations that we must be strong and unite in our ideas against those without. Always keep secret that which is entrusted to you to know and to understand by true brothers or true sisters. So basically what that's saying is, if a brother or sister puts their trust in you and says something to you, don't blabber it all over the internet. Don't blabber it all over Facebook. Don't blabber it all over any Instagram, Twitter, anywhere. Keep it to yourself. That's what they're telling you. Guard your mysteries of Satanists well, but reveal them to those that deserve them. Always honor yourself first, because you, as a member, as a child of Father Satan and the demonic, are also honored as such. You have to be a very active member. You have to be active if you're a true Satanist. 100%. And do not keep wisdom and knowledge from other brothers. Well, you can keep wisdom from some brothers and sisters, but instead try to share. But you should try to share your knowledge and wisdom to people that you know want to learn it. Okay, like some new people to the left-hand path, to Satanism, whichever. You know that they want to. You know that they want to learn it, if they truly want to learn it. Remember always, knowledge is power, and knowledge used with wisdom is what makes us all great, for we are all brothers and sisters in the name of Father Satan. And words are written within the book of Satanists, and we are immortal. Okay, the 21 satanic points. This is going to be a long video. I didn't realize it. Where are my two here? Okay, I'm going to do another video. Hold on, let me see here. Where are my two? Yeah, I'm going to do another video right after this one to finish up what I'm doing. Ave Satanas, Ave Lucifera, Ave Lord Belial, Ave King Asmodeus, Ave Beautiful Queen Lilith, Ave Lord Leviathan, Ave Father Satan, Ave King Asmodeus, Ave Lord Pazuzu. I'll talk to you next.